I'm here with Abdirahman Ali, the CEO of Taxinet, a local taxi hailing app that just launched 2 months ago, to give us an overview about what's going on in the taxi services and taxi hailing apps in the country amid a lot of competition. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. Please tell us more about Taxinet, how you started, and what you're looking at going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Hangede. Thank you for coming. Taxinet Kenya, it's an app, it's a Kenyan-owned app. We provide the technology platform to order for a ride, and we actually work closely with our partners. And when I say our partners, we mean the drivers and the riders. As you mentioned, we are over 1,000 riders, customers, and over 500 cars on the roads. Our actually aim as Taxinet Kenya is to make sure that our target, we grow by December, closely 5,000 cars on the road. Yes.
All right, there's a lot of competition in the sector. We've seen a lot of price wars since Uber came on board. How is Taxinet doing in this kind of price wars? What's different from what's in the market right now?
As you mentioned, there's a lot of competition, and I'm saying competition is healthy, but we look also at the people we're working closely, our partners, the plights and the cries they have. We are looking at both the income and also the riders' pockets. Looking at our commission, we are charging 10% commission compared to our competitors. We're actually the lowest. That's why we are called a Kenyan owned, because we are looking at the pockets of our riders and also the benefits for our drivers. So we are 10% commission in that package. The other thing is the system. It's user friendly. We actually a company that listens to its partners. So I can say we are totally different from our competitors, because looking at the system platform and looking at the commission 10%, we are really growing every day, every hour.
All right, what was the motivation for you to start this company?
The motivation part of it was about the technology platform. In the first place, looking at the taxi apps that's around the world, as you mentioned, our competitors. What motivated us was coming up with a local solution for our local drivers who are really suffering every hour. And some of them will even tell you stories that can motivate you, can motivate you to start something of our own. So that's why we came up with Taxinet Kenya, to give a local solution in our local market. As an investor, we wanted it to be up and running a local market. That's why you call it Taxinet Kenya. So basically, the motivation is looking the plights of our partners, and also as a company, we thought of a platform, a system, an app that can really work for the local market.
Mm-hmm. How much is the investment?
Basically, I won't say exactly how much, but looking at it, we are talking of millions. We are not there to brag, but we'll be spending millions in the near future also, because we are looking expansion even beyond Kenya. In 3 years, we have a target, already written targets, Africa. So we are talking of not less than 100 million. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow. Great stuff. And as you talked about the situation on price wars and drivers with international companies that are in the country, do you feel like the international companies that are in the country don't fully understand the local problems when it comes to the taxi hailing?
Basically, they don't understand, because as a Kenyan born, raised in Kenya, educated in Kenya, the same fellows we are working with, we're calling our partners, are the local people. As an international company, when you come into a company that you don't belong to, you find you don't even understand the constitution. You don't even find some of the bylaws around here. Also, the money that you get at the end of the revenue, when you have your budget, You see, some of the international companies and the plight of these our partners, basically they say, pesa haikuji, pesa inaenda nje. You know, that's how they put it in Swahili. But in short, we can say we are better off, better blessed locally, and that's why we are motivated more than even the international companies. And very soon we are actually rolling into the streets to see now the international companies really feeling the pinch, because we also locally hyped.
Because we've seen a lot of strikes, a lot of resolutions, and it's a highly non-regulated area. Do you feel like we need more regulation on this sector, and on which sectors, on what parts of the sector would you like to see regulation from government?
Basically, we need a regulation from the authorities, from Ministry of Transport, looking at the pricing, because some companies charge even lower, which is actually giving headache to the drivers, even to sustain the car fuel. So we need, and I'm requesting from the Minister for Transport, if he can actually get into this matter, or the authority, to look into even the base fare or the basic transport that are charged, actually the fare should be across board sometimes. Just looking at the pocket. We are not only there to make money, but we are there to empower. But looking at the, as you said, we need regulations. I think it has been tried even in the parliament, but nothing is still going on there. As Taxinet Kenya, we are really pushing together with other drivers' union to make sure that we get a platform. Because with this union and Taxinet Kenya, if we move a law into the parliament and we sponsor it, I'm sure our drivers will smile at last, and also will also make our profits without fail. But looking at the international companies, sometimes they don't understand the regulations that are there, and there is no single regulation existing with the apps. So that's why also we are requesting from the Minister of Transport to look into it in the future, so that the plight of our partners, such as the drivers and the riders, also considered in the regulation.
Okay. You're currently in Nairobi. Are any plans for you to venture into other towns?
Yes, sir. We are trying to move into Mombasa, the coastal town, Kisumu, Eldoret, and also Nakuru. So we're trying to establish ourselves. We have already a target plan. After December, we'll be rolling into like 3-4 towns, major towns within Kenya. Yes.
Outside of Kenya, where are you looking at?
Outside Kenya, basically we're looking at East African countries. East African countries. That is actually what we are looking at. And when they say East African countries, we are looking at the economy, because you don't just invest in a country where economy also is going down. So we'll be going to far as East African. Let me see, from Rwanda, even Congo, even Tanzania, even Uganda. So if all goes well, Nigeria, South Africa also.
Great stuff. Thank you very much for giving us this time.